Hi, my name is Sayantan Barik. I'm a software engineer by profession. This is my second YouTube video on Terraform. Today we will discuss how does Terraform works. Clicking through the AWS console to build a server, a load balancer and a database is fine once, but do it again for staging, again for production, and it falls apart fast. This is how Terraform fixes that. Let's walk through this diagram to top to bottom, and the end you will understand exactly what happens when you run Terraform apply. Starts with a person, not a tool. A DevOps engineer or really any developer writes configuration file. Notice the arrow, it points down from the engineer into the files. Terraform does not generate this for you. You write them first in plain text and Terraform just reads them. The configuration file. Point to the configuration or .tf files box, then each row in turn. By convention, that configuration gets split into a few files. Main.tf is where the real content lives. This is where you actually define resources like EC2, a load balancer, and a database. Provider.tf tells Terraform which cloud to talk to and how to authenticate your AWS or any other cloud's account, your region, your credential as well. It configures the connection. It does not create resource itself. That's a common mix-up. Variable.tf holds input values you can reuse, things like instance size or environment name, so you are not hard coding them into the main.tf. And the output.tf defines what Terraform prints back to you once it has been done, like the IP address of the server it just created. The first command. Once those files exist, the very first command you run is terraform.init. This step is easy to forget in tutorials, but it essential. It downloads the actual provider plugin. The code that lets Terraform speaks to AWS or any other cloud provider's API and sets up where your states will be stored. Nothing gets created yet. This is just the setup. Plan and the state file. You can go to the Terraform plan box and the dashed line to the state file. Next, Terraform plan. This is where the Terraform reads your .tf files and figure out what needs to happen. But it does not just look at your files. See this dashed line going into the state file. Terraform compares your configuration against the state file, which is its record of what it's already created last time. That's the piece most explanation skip, and it's actually the most important concept in the Terraform. The state file, terraform.tf state, is how Terraform tells the difference between the does not exist yet, create it, this exist has not changed, leave it alone, and this exists something change, update it. Without it, every plan would be a guess. Terraform plan prints out exactly what it intends to do. Nothing is created or changed yet. It's your chance to review before committing. Then come Terraform apply. This is the command that actually costs money and changes real infrastructure. Terraform takes the plan, makes real API calls to AWS, and notice the arrow going to the other direction now from apply into the state file. Once resources are created, Terraform writes their details back into the state file. That's what makes the next plan accurate. It's a loop. Plan read state, apply, write state. So what actually shows up on the cloud side? Everything inside this VPC, you can see the EC2 instance, the load balancer and the database. All of it traces back to the resource block written in main.tf, not in provider.tf or not in variables.tf. The actual resource definition live in the main.tf. That's the direct line from the text file on my laptop to the running server in AWS. Why go through all of this? So why not just click around in the console? A few reason is there. It's repeatable, need the same setup in a new environment, run the same files. It's the version control. Your infrastructure history lives in Git, same as your app code with a full audit trail. Teams can review infrastructure changes as pull request before anything touches production. And the same three commands, init, plan and apply, work whether you are on AWS, Azure, GCP or several at once. So what is the recap? Now what's the recap? Check the diagram. Let's trace the whole diagram one more time. The engineer writes .tf files. Terraform init pulls in the provider plugin. Terraform plan compares your file against the state file and shows you what will change. Terraform apply executes that plan and writes the result back into the state file. What comes out other end is real infrastructure and EC2 instance, a load balancer, a database, all defined back in main.tf. That's the entire loop. Learn this once and it's the same mental model whether you were deploying one server or a hundred of server.